Hello, my name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for the 11th of May, 2021. I should have had this done earlier. I think... Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm looking at something else. Did I think I was a cold? No. I thought I was a bloodwort stock. Okay, and there's a little rat. Oh, there's the jackal. Now the jackal wants to come play. We just try to get away from the jackal. What interesting things have happened to me lately? Did I tell you about some of the fun things that happened on the road? So I have a kind of long commute, so bad things can happen. They don't normally. Normally things are pretty good. Normally I'm okay on my commute, but I had a couple of fairly near misses. One really near miss. It was really scary. The past couple of days. So, what happened? Well, I was driving my car, and let's go with Monday. Monday, which is the less scary one, I was driving along, having a good time, on my way to work at 5:30 in the morning. Probably already 6 o'clock by then. Where I was, it was probably around 6 o'clock. And, you know, I was on a highway, a regular old state highway, so it was not limited access. And I was driving in the left lane, and I was coming up to a place where we went under a limited access highway. And so when you're at the limited access highway, there's a light, right? And that controls the flow on and off of the highway. So, you know, that makes a lot of sense right there, right? I mean, I think we can deal with that. So, when I was just about there, some guy comes over, cutting over 2 lanes. So he's coming from the right-hand lane of a 6-lane highway, so we've got 3 lanes in between. I don't know how confusing that is. So a 6-lane highway has three lanes going one way, 3 lanes going the other way. I was in the left-hand lane of the ones going my direction, sort of east. And this other guy had been in the right-hand lane of the ones going east. So I was in the left-hand lane, he was in the right-hand lane, and there were lanes in between us, right? One lane in between us, and traffic. So it is important to note that there was a guy directly to my right for this, a little bit behind me, but he was directly to my right. So I can't move, right? And this guy does exactly what you'd expect him to do in this situation. Is, you know, he decides that he absolutely has to turn left now. And so he cuts in front of 2 people and tries to get into this left-hand turn lane that just appeared. But not surprisingly, nobody in that lane, who doesn't even know he was there, wants to let him in. So he stops in the middle of the highway. And I stop, and I'm okay. But behind me, there's a semi. There is a big old giant honking truck. All right? And this big old giant honking truck did not know that he was going to be able to stop, and it let out his horn and scared me very much. I thought I was going to be sandwiched in between these guys because, like I said, I was more or less stuck. There was traffic coming around on my right. I was just sitting in front of this other guy, and the truck was coming up behind me. But the truck stopped, so I did not die. That doesn't sound too horrible. That sounds like stuff that happens occasionally and didn't really amount to anything. I could be just, you know, a little dramatic, right, about that. A lot of people would say, oh, Jim, you're just being dramatic, right? So, and, you know, you can think about that. Yeah, possibly, that's a little too dramatic there, the way I presented that. that's okay. We'll let you have your opinion. I cannot be too dramatic about what happened last Thursday. Okay, so in that case, I was coming home. I was coming home a little bit early, so it was 3:30 in the afternoon. And I have a long commute, and I get to work fairly early, so it's not that early for me to leave work, right? Except it's a lot earlier than I normally leave work. It's not that early for somebody to leave work who's been at work since 7 a.m., right? So maybe half an hour early or something like that I left. So I was going home, and now I was on a limited access highway. Three lanes, three to a side again. There was some work going on, not on the shoulder, but on the road next to the shoulder. And so that work, had nothing to do with this, but there was work on the shoulder. Next to me. While this happened. So, but this may be the reason why it happened, because I was just sitting there watching, I'm not sitting there at this point, I'm driving around, it's maybe 55 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden the cars in front of me start slowing down. All the cars in front of me start slowing down. I'm going, uh-oh. Is this going to be one of these random things that happens, sometimes on the highway where you have this traffic jam in the middle of the day, far away from anyone for no apparent reason. Is that what's going to happen today? That's what I was worried about. And so I slowed down, and I was slowing down for this car. And I slowed down for the car, and I stopped. And right about then, I heard a crash coming in front of me. So something had happened. I do not know what at this point, right? I just know that I heard a car crash. And that's not good. That's usually a bad sign. I did it again. I did the same thing twice. But it's a good reason to go up there. So I stop. Now there's been a car crash in front of me. I don't know if there's been a car crash already. I don't know exactly what happened. So it could have been a guy who was already stopped. I couldn't see in front of me, so I do not know. Right? Then, immediately to my left, this guy comes to a quick stop himself. This guy next to me. He hadn't been the guy who was immediately next to me, because that guy is gone. That guy had gone far away, never to be seen again. Right? But So we had this unfortunate incident. This guy stopped right next to me, right? And I'm not sure why he stopped. At this point, there was no reason for him to stop. So he stopped rather fast. Possibly because I stopped, because the other people were stopped. The guys behind me were stopped. So as far as I know, there were no crashes behind me. But another guy ran into him, and somebody ran into the guy who ran into him. And so here I was in the middle of the highway. Oh, I was on the right-hand lane, but I was in the middle of the highway, and I was stuck there in between a bunch of people who had basically run into each other on the highway. Then, I don't know why this happened. So remember, here's the situation. Right? The guys in front of me, they had all rammed into each other. The guys to the left of me, they had all rammed into each other. So, right-hand lane, a bunch of people in front of me rammed into each other, lots of mayhem and destruction. To the left of me, lots of mayhem and destruction in the middle lane. But, you know, at least the right-hand lane's clear, right? That sounds good. We've got a clear right-hand lane. Why wouldn't we want to have something like that? Doesn't this seem good to you? Seems reasonably good to me, right? So, what happens next? Well, I thought I quit him. Well, that's enchanting. Who should I enchant? Well, I'm not sure what that splint mill is now, so I'll do M. Move curse. So now an SUV decides that it's his turn. And this SUV just +1 splint mill. This SUV decides that it's going to be a great old time to, how am I doing? And this was just lackadaisically. I don't know exactly what happened, right? He's somewhere in front of me. Okay, so he's been in the crash part. He decides to go forward. Okay, and he turns out of his lane. Right? Goes across the two lanes, rams the median dead on. So he rams the concrete median dead on. For no apparent reason, bam, now all of a sudden his hood pops up. He's stuck there in the middle of the road. No idea why he did that. Seems like a bad move. Possibly he was injured more than thought he was. So there I am now. All three lanes are blocked. Almost. Not for me, really. But almost all 3 lanes are blocked. And what's happened? The guys in front of me, big crash, right? The guys to the left of me, big crash, and then a tiny little crash with a fun-sized SUV. It was a small SUV, it wasn't a giant SUV, so a fun-sized SUV. That took up another half of the thing. It was very, very disturbing. I was stuck there in the. I was not stuck there in the middle. As I intimated, the way these things actually turned out, I was, basically in the clear, right? I could just go around the guys in front of me. See, there were about 5, 6 cars all in a line. I'm not sure, they were in 3 clumps, and one clump only had 1 guy in it. I assume he was in there because he was looking pretty he was looking pretty freaked out, but probably would be. I wasn't really in good shape myself, but I wasn't hurt or anything, so. I don't have any reason to complain. Other than I almost died. Right. Tiny little car right in the middle of the road, going 55, stopping really quickly. Could have been very, very bad. Staff for poison 3. It's not so good. The monkeys themselves, they heal up really quickly. So anyways, those were the fun things that happened to me recently. And I bet you couldn't even tell by the way I told that I'm here playing a game while I'm trying to tell the story. That's how good a storyteller I am, and that's what everybody says is tell more stories. Story man. Oh, okay, let's see. So let's see if these guys will figure out for me where the puzzle is for that puzzle room. I might be able to play with that jelly since I have the axe to severely reduce how scary the jelly can be. Okay, this way maybe. To the room with the key. Worst thing of poison, and scale mail. That's a very strange thing. Makeup. It's not normal. Anyways. Yeah, when I told that story, I wasn't playing the game at the same time. Don't really want to do this. Good place to hide. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's only +1 anyway. Ooh, what is that potion? Strength. And I just sunk those. Enchantment scrolls into normal axe. Not doing great. I get 1 ring. Awareness, transference, light, or wisdom. Need something to give me some more juice. Okay, I'll avoid that over. That toad is not coming this way. Another vampire bat. And wrath. It can stay here. Alright, let's check these guys out. N is fire immunity, and T is paralysis. Wait, I got the fire, I'm immune to fire. I can just walk around over lava. Because I'm immune to fire and apparently heat. Is there nothing in that little secret chamber? There's a secret door there. But now we know we don't need to worry about it. Not seeing a lot in this level. No longer immune to fire, unfortunately. Fortunately, there's a secret door. Another potion of telepathy, and I should be using those because I've got lots of them. I don't see anything in that room, which means there's probably nothing there. This feels a little empty to me. There we go. And so we made it. Now the acid mound saw me. Now I do have a special acid mound sword. I have to remove D to use it. Alright, let's drop some of this crap. Drop B, drop I'm not sure about this squint mail. Probably, but yeah, I've got this ring of stealth, so abandoned mail probably as well. O obviously, don't need any cursed plate armor. It's cursed and it's plate armor. Got 2 of that scroll. It really makes me think it's probably one of the bad ones. Scroll of enchanting. Anything I really want to enchant right now, I can use it for other purposes later. Oh, one of those bastards. Okay. They can cause a lot of damage. Especially if people leave their scrolls. I don't know why people always leave their scrolls lying around. Okay. It also feels pretty empty. Paralysis and fire immunity. Okay. So some more goodies. Just to explain how horrible of a time I was having. This made me do a lot better than the previous. Oops. Oh, this is really bad. Yep. That's what happens. I said I was doing good, and I died because I stepped on something in the middle of the floor, which if I'd chosen the awareness, I wouldn't have done. Still, I think it was alright. A little bit better. I have to retrain myself. It's been a long time since I played this. It's been a few months since I've played this game regularly, so I get a couple of weeks of being a moron. Bye now.